Hey there, kids. So, a while back, I was going to make an Ogre Pond Wellspring video because I didn't know that Ogre Pond Wellspring was just like stupid and busted. Uh, then I saw that one Pinkercross video where he just talks about how stupid and busted it is. Then I saw another Pinkercross video where he talks about how like cool Lokix is. A couple other Pokemon too, but mostly Lokix. Lokix is sick as fuck. So this is a Lokix team. Lokix is cool because it does like the thing Scizor does, where it's just got like strong stab priority, and then it does everything else Scizor does like way worse. But Tinted Lead's first impression is really good, especially in like the Gen 9 meta, where half the time your answer to something is just to become a type that resists it. And with Tinted Lens, that is just no longer an option. Terra, obviously you become a different type, but you become only one type, so there just is no way to Terrastalize out of taking at least neutral damage from first impression. The other moves are just like the three other moves you would run on any bug dark type Pokemon. U-turn is good for when you think they're going to switch out of a first impression, so you're not just like totally killing your momentum, because that's the big drawback, is clicking first impression kills your momentum. Screeches to you get like the big hit and it's cool, and sometimes you hit the cliff and then you've just got to like do the walk of shame out because you can't click anything else after first impression, because obviously it only works on the first turn you're on the field, and you need the choice band to actually like do damage good enough to justify Lokix. So it is a massive momentum sink. It's kind of like Gen 3 Doug Trio, where you kind of just like guaranteed kill something, but it's a giant momentum sink. Alomomola and what is his Pokemon? Alomomola and Rillaboom function as like pivots to bring Lokix in safely. Mostly Alomomola. Rillaboom also just has like, strong priority for him, kind of like a cool priority-based offensive core with Lokix. Hatterene also has like pivot support with Healing Wish, which was really good because obviously you can't afford to run heavy-duty boots, and Lokix is weak to rocks. So you're getting chipped by Stealth Rocks the whole game. So it's cool to like bring out Lokix like one more time in a situation where you normally wouldn't be able to. Garganackle is the thing you switch into after Lokix clicks the button, to just like not have another one of your Pokemon immediately die. And Great Tusk is here because it's Great Tusk. It provides rapid spin support for pretty much just Lokix. Lokix is kind of the only Pokemon that really cares about it. But it is really important to keep those off as long as possible because they really hinder Lokix's long-term use. The other three moves are just, like standard Great Tusk moves. I lead with Rillaboom because Suicune triggers my goddamn fight or flight, and I cannot bear the possibility of losing to Suicune, to lead Suicune again. Not after last time. Never again. Uh, Also, full disclosure, I played these games like months ago. So I only know like a little more than you do. That headlong rush was to catch the roost. I didn't think I'd be faster. I should have known I'd be faster because it like happened already. But clearly this is the type of high level gameplay you come to this channel for. I bring in Lokix just to do a bunch of damage to something and pivot out. I pivot back into the Hatterian because I was not expecting this to be like Guts Facade. I was fully expecting like Assault Vest. This guy's team does not have a whole lot of OU Pokemon on it, which puts me at a disadvantage because I only bothered learning what like the OU Pokemon do. Here comes that Suicune finally. I figure Garganacl is probably bulky enough to take a Scald, and I'm right, so I get the Salt Cure. Unfortunately, it's not quite as bulky as I would have liked, and I've already terastallized the Lokix. I don't know why I stayed in there. I absolutely should have switched out. The stall war between Mandibuzz and Garganacl goes on for kind of a while. I might have to speed this up because there is nothing worth talking about. I guess while we're just sitting here, a thought occurred to me the other day. Why does Chinchino like exist? The Pokemon Chinchino, which it's Chinchino with a CH sound. Another thing that bothers me. But like Minchino, I can see like existing on its own as just like a random bad single. Oh, something's happening. We'll get back to this. I will get back to this. I was not expecting Grass Knot on the Thundurus. I was fully expecting like a Focus Blast, which I was just kind of like banking on the miss. Bad strategy, by the way. Don't do that. The trick on a Lomomola is kind of really bad, but it does have like the. It does boost Scald a little bit, but like, you know, it's an Alomomola. The damage is not why you're using Scald. Oh, and look, it's Garganacl and Mandibuzz again. Everybody loves Garganacl and Mandibuzz. He does not waste any time this time. He just goes right back into the Scizor, allowing me to recover and then take out the Scizor with Assault Cure. The Suicune comes back in, and I am just barely healthy enough to hit it with another Salt Cure, so that it isn't just like sitting here being threatening forever. I don't know what this Suicune's set was. I think it only ever clicked Scald. Oh no, it's got Rest. Hate Rest Suicune so much. All Suicune does is sit there and sleep and then kill your team. Goddamn fucking Crocoon. I flip turn out into Rillaboom because I was like this was a panic response. I did figure he's going to switch out, so I U-turn off the Mandibuzz back into the Garganacl so that Mandibuzz and Garganacl can sit here and play their little game for a few more turns. Goes back into the Suicune on another Salt Cure. I am very glad that Suicune kinda fucking sucks now, because I hate it. I know I've spent like most of this commentary talking about how much I hate Suicune. There are not enough words in the English language to express how much I hate Suicune. Suicune is the worst. I know it's like popular, and I might. I mean, I don't think I'm like a big enough figure on the internet to get hate for ragging on Suicune. If I were a popular figure, I'd probably get hate for ragging on Suicune, but I'm not, so I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want. Suicune sucks ass and I hate it. I'm lost. Where are we in the replay? What am I doing? I did these replays like months ago. I don't remember what happens in it. Great Tusk. Oh yeah, I should have done this so long ago. Yeah, because it's a poison turn now. Why did I Ice Spin? I probably thought he was going to switch into the Thunderous. Yeah, I should have just Ice Spinnered again, man. I go into the Alomomola on just like a move. I knew it wouldn't be Thunderbolt, and I figured Alomomola could take whatever else he was using, so I just switched. The Suicune comes back in, so I flip turn into Jungle Boogie. And then I figure the Suicune will switch out again, so I U-turn off of that, and he doesn't. So I bring in Alomomola, and you're never going to guess what I do next. I flip turn off the Suicune and go into the Rillaboom. And you're never going to guess what I do next. I U-turn off the Suicune again. I go into the Great Tusk this time just to like not have to play the whole turn game again. He goes into the Mandibuzz, and finally clicking the same move over and over again pays off. I switch into Lokix to see if I can just like kill it with first impression, and I do just barely miss out on the KO, which means I have unfortunately sacked all offensive momentum, which means it's time to play the Garganacl game. Lokix was supposed to be like the focus of this team and also of like the video, but I think Garganacl probably got more screen time than anything else. The Suicune being asleep means that I can first impression again on the switch to also again just barely not kill the Mandibuzz. This time he switches out. I don't know why. That was definitely just like a free roost there because I was forced to switch. The Gengar comes in. I first impression to like kill the Gengar. Maybe he was out of roost. Yeah, he was out of roost. That's what he did, roost. The double focus blast is fucking bullshit, by the way. From here, just about everything is like not really wanting to take a first impression, but I also don't have enough Pokemon left to like play recklessly with Lokix's life. So it all kind of comes down to how well Garganacl can stall out this guy's last couple of Pokemon. Just do enough chip. He tricks Heavy Duty Boots onto my Garganacl, which is like the leftovers healing at this point isn't doing like much. Lokix gets sniped by a Shadow Ball on the switch. I didn't think it would do that much damage. So it is all just down to Garganacl now. But I am in a position where he kind of can't kill me before I just win the game. Unfortunately, Garganacl sitting there and just like slowly salt curing Gengar to death isn't particularly interesting. God, this is like a 80 turn game. Is this video going to be boring as hell? This video might be boring as hell. Grass Knot does a bunch of damage, but it isn't enough because Garganacl is fucking unkillable. Suicune dies to the Stealth Rock damage. We win the game. That was a 76 turn game. This video might be boring. This video might be really boring. I lead with Lokix in this game because they always, everyone who has like ever used Hisuian Samurott has led with Hisuian Samurott. I U-turn out because I did not expect them to just go for the turn 1 Terra Water Razor Shell. A crazy play. King Gambit gets erased by Low Kick, Rillaboom. I like the nicknames, but they throw me off because I look at the Pokemon and it says its name is Jungle Boogie, and I'm like, that's not the Pokemon's name, and I should, you know, professionally, I should use their name. You know what? Fuck it. For the rest of the game, we're going on nicknames. Plagal Lokix can take out the Cresselia, which then he brings in the Iron Valiant, and that is absolutely specs Iron Valiant because there's no way Holy Mola takes that much from, like, especially if it's not Life Orb. We can wish on the switch to get some healing back. I Scald just for the burn, which we get because we're the most skilled gamer of all time. Just do a couple more Scalds to take out the Samurai. I probably shouldn't have let him get up all 3 layers of spikes, but I really didn't want to switch anything else in to a Ceaseless Edge. He tries to encore my Big Hat Biddy, but Magic Bounce is cool, and also I haven't used any moves yet, so it doesn't matter. Nuzzle can. I was trying to nuzzle the Valiant, but he switches out because, you know, obviously he's twist locked into a move. Psychic Noise can just delete the Alomomola because it can't wish, which lets me bring in Great Tusk on a Paralysis turn, which was totally planned. The worst part is it probably was planned, is that I probably did plan for that to happen, which is that's not good play. Don't make bets on inconsistent chances, kids. Go for consistency. Great Tusk gets blasted by the Iron Valiant, or not Great Tusk, Elon Tusk, sorry, forgot nicknames. Psychic Noise does a bunch to the Iron Valiant, and then Big Hat Biddy also goes down to a Moonblast, which lets us bring in Rillaboom to Grassy Glide the Iron Valiant, and then Grassy Glide the Great Tusk. This Great Tusk is like hella defensive though, that does like no damage. Ice Spinner clears the terrain, which means that another Grassy Glide does even less damage, and that it doesn't go first. I probably should have just switched into like a Alomomola, who took like nothing from an Ice Spinner, and then could just like 2-hit KO it with Scald, but I wanted the Lokix clip, because this is a Lokix video, so we used the Lokix. You know what? Fuck it. We're going into this one blind. I'm not watching another replay like 30 times to get footage. So this is all just gonna be one take. Cause fuck it. I don't care. Let's fucking go. Thunderous, I lead with Lokix. That is a bad lead. He switches out to Zapdos. I don't know why. He was in a pretty good spot there, honestly. Zapdos misses a Hurricane on the Hatterene, which lets us Psychic Noise, so now he can't Roost. He Volt switches out into Empoleon, which tanks the Psychic Noise. We go into... We don't go into anything. We stay in, we hit Nuzzle, and then the next turn I probably Healing Wish, right? Yeah, bank a Healing Wish for something later, and go into the Great Tusk. Zapdos comes in, but we read that like goddamn book, hit it with the double Ice Spinner, get staticked because I And I do not associate Zapdos with the static ability. I should. It's the only thing anybody runs anymore, but I don't know. That just feels like that's a rat ability. You put that on your little electric rat. You know, that's not an ability for a Pokemon as powerful as Zapdos. Alomomola can... Why didn't I flip turn? I should have flipped turn. The Empoleon had grass on. I think I just wasn't healthy enough to flip turn. Amoonguss in a metagame where sleep is banned is a questionable choice. But he sure did click that Toxic and then hit a resisted foul play on the switch. Talonflame comes in. We U-turn out, which really risky. I should have seen that coming, honestly. And I definitely should have played a little carefully around it because I definitely would not have wanted Lokix to get burned. But it works out fine enough this time, I guess. That Surf did way more damage than I was expecting it to. Saltcure is doing good damage to the Empoleon though, so between leftovers and grassy terrain, I figure we're probably going to just like protect for a turn and get a little chip. But apparently Empoleon learns Roost, which I just did not know. Fully did not know that. I guess it makes sense. It is a bird. But I think, you know, the whole gimmick of the flying type, or of Roost, is that you drop the flying type. So it just kind of doesn't make sense to me on Pokemon that aren't flying type. Headlong Rush does good damage into the Amoonguss, and that critical hit foul play did no damage. We get paralyzed on the next turn, the next 2 turns, and he just heals. He heals back to full with Synthesis, but we can hit a big Ice Spinner on the Landorus on the next turn. Earthquake does good damage after the defense drop. Rapid Spin. I thought Rapid Spin would be enough to get the kill there. It wasn't. We can go into Rillaboom to set up grassy terrain, weaken the Earthquake, and threaten out the Landorus. I wanted to kill the Landorus. That would have been ideal, but this Amoonguss is making that difficult. Great Tusk comes back in on a foul play. Foul play makes contact? Just lost health from Rocky Helmet Chip. I did not know foul play was a contact move. I guess I just don't know like what it is they're doing. What is the foul play? They just punch you in the face, or is it uses your attack stat? So is it like a why are you hitting yourself? They just like grab your arm and punch you in the face with your own arm. The Amoonguss manages to take down Great Tusk. We bring in Lokix, which immediately has to switch out because he just pivots into the Landorus, which dies, and the Talonflame comes in. And this time I do remember that Flame Body is a thing, and I don't want to get burned. Amoonguss comes in on the Wish, and then we flip turn out into Lokix on the Empoleon switch in, and then knock off the Empoleon. I really should have played more carefully around the Talonflame. I should not have just like only decided to deal with it when I could like look at it in front of me. Amoonguss comes back in. At this point, I'm like not really sure how I'm going to deal with the Amoonguss. I think the only like real game plan was just to like, you know, wear it down to a point where I could definitely one-hit KO it with Lokix, which the burn and the Salt Cure is definitely good for. It does mean that we get to sit here and look at Garganacl for a couple more turns, because I don't want to switch Lokix in on a Toxic. He does eventually just switch out on the turn that we use Salt Cure, so the Talonflame gets fucked up. It U-turns out into the Iron Valiant, which lets us Salt Cure that. And we go into Rillaboom. which takes way less from a close combat than I would have thought. I think this is like a defensive Rillaboom set. Not like defensive, but like a bulky set. Grassy Glide takes out the Iron Valiant, and then he forfeits the game because his other two Pokemon were just like too low to stop me from winning. So that's Lokix team video. I know this is the part where I give like closing thoughts on the Pokemon and the team and like what Pokemon were cool and what Pokemon I think suck shit. But this is like a pretty basic overused team with a kind of niche UU Pokemon on it. Nobody fucking needs that. If you manage to find this video, you probably know what these Pokemon do already and like how cool they are. And if you don't, then you probably know me in real life and you can just ask. So we're actually going to circle back on that Chinchino thing. I can see Minchino existing like on its own as a single stage Pokemon, just like a shitty normal type with like bad stats but like good speed and like a decent support move pool or something. And I can see Chinchino existing as a less shitty normal type with like good speed and a decent support move pool and like enough attack to do something sometimes. But like as an evolutionary line, they're just like the same Pokemon, but one of them's wearing a scarf design wise. Like they look exactly the same, but Chinchino's got a scarf on. It looks lazy. Like it looks like an evolution from like a knockoff game. Like it doesn't, not even like Digimon, like a shitty mobile game it's like Supermons or something, you know? Like it looks lazy. It is pretty cute though, I'll say that.